There you can see the group well armed and forcing an apartment door open and making their way in. This has raised concerns amongst residents and Colorado state law enforcement officials. The city of Aurora is issuing a statement today in the wake of national attention.
FBI Mobile arresting 6 suspected members of a criminal gang called Tren de Aragua. Jessica Vaughn with the Center for Immigration Studies says Tren de Aragua, or TDA, is gaining a reputation in America. Vaughn examines the impact of immigration on American society.
They're waving the guns around.
Correct.
Waving guns and flashing gang signs on this video. The NYPD says these are suspected members of the ruthless Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua, which has been infiltrating the U.S. for the last 2 years.
What just unfolded in Colorado has sent shockwaves through communities nationwide and exposed a chilling reality about transnational crime on American soil. Federal authorities have just delivered a crushing blow to the Venezuelan prison gang Tren de Aragua, known as TDA. In a coordinated strike that took months to orchestrate, ICE and FBI agents arrested 28 suspects, seized 69 firearms, and dismantled what investigators call the most sophisticated criminal network they've encountered in suburban America. But this story goes far deeper than the numbers. This is about how a gang born in the chaos of Venezuelan prisons managed to embed itself in ordinary neighborhoods, turning apartment complexes into fortresses and terrorizing families who came to America seeking safety. Stay with me as we break down every detail of this operation, from the undercover investigation that cracked the case wide open to the shocking evidence that left even seasoned federal agents stunned. If you want to stay informed about stories like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. It started with a contract for murder. Late 2024, federal investigators intercepted communications about a chilling business transaction. $15,000 for a killing, with an additional $5,000 bonus if the victim's head was delivered as proof. That single intercept became the thread that unraveled an entire criminal empire. For 10 grueling months, agents from ICE, FBI, ATF, and DEA worked in the shadows. They decoded encrypted messages, tracked cash movements through multiple states, and watched as seemingly normal apartment buildings in Aurora transformed into command centers for international crime. What they discovered defied belief. This wasn't just local drug dealing or petty crime. Federal prosecutors revealed a sophisticated pipeline moving narcotics, weapons, and extortion payments from Colorado streets all the way to criminal bosses operating in Colombia and Venezuela. The evidence recovered tells the story of an operation that was industrial in scale. Investigators seized methamphetamine by the pound, cocaine and fentanyl packaged for rapid street distribution, and even pink cocaine, a synthetic drug specifically targeted at younger users. But the drugs were just one part of the equation. The weapons cache was equally shocking. 69 firearms, including rifles modified for automatic fire, body armor, and tactical equipment designed for intimidation and warfare. This wasn't an improvised street crime. This was military-style infrastructure embedded in suburban America. At the center of this criminal empire sat Ivy Crossing, a low-income apartment complex that became the gang's operational headquarters. Residents describe a living nightmare that unfolded gradually, then suddenly consumed their daily lives. Gang lookouts armed with rifles turned stairwells into checkpoints. Families were forced to pay protection money just to live in peace in their own homes. Children walked to school past hallways where weapons leaned against walls like casual furniture. The most disturbing part? Cell phone footage that went viral in early 2025 showed armed TDA members patrolling openly between laundry rooms and parking lots, weapons displayed as if they owned the property outright. These weren't hidden operations conducted under cover of darkness. This was broad daylight intimidation in full view of an entire community. Residents lived in terror. Mothers avoided eye contact with young men carrying tactical gear, understanding instinctively that any perceived sign of defiance could have deadly consequences. Families found themselves trapped between a violent gang that controlled their neighborhood and a system they didn't trust enough to call for help. The psychological impact was devastating. Emergency calls from the complex skyrocketed. Parents stopped allowing children to play outside. Elderly residents became prisoners in their own apartments, afraid to venture into common areas that had become gang territory. When the viral footage first surfaced, the response revealed uncomfortable truths about how America handles transnational crime. Some local officials initially dismissed the evidence as exaggerated or taken out of context, warning against fueling panic or anti-immigrant sentiment. This hesitation came at a cost. While political leaders debated the proper response, families continued living under siege. The gang's control deepened and their operations expanded. What started as intimidation evolved into a full criminal infrastructure operating with near impunity. National security analysts now warn that Aurora was far from unique. Intelligence. Briefings indicate TDA has established active operations in at least 17 states, with an estimated 600 members spread from Florida to New Jersey, Texas to Colorado. The pattern repeats across the country. Gangs infiltrating migrant communities, exploiting vulnerable populations, and leveraging fear to establish territorial control. Why Aurora specifically? Demographics and economics created perfect conditions. Large immigrant populations, affordable housing complexes, and stretched local law enforcement resources made the city an ideal target for gang infiltration. July 30th, 2025 marked the end of months of careful surveillance. Federal agents struck simultaneously across multiple locations in Colorado. 30 indictments were unsealed in what prosecutors called the most significant blow against Tren de Aragua ever delivered on American soil. 28 suspects were arrested, including 3 alleged leaders. 1 was captured inside the United States, while 2 others were directing operations from abroad, highlighting the truly international scope of this criminal network. The coordination required was immense, multiple federal agencies working together, months of wiretaps and undercover work, and cooperation with international partners in Colombia and Venezuela. The result was not just arrests, but the complete dismantling of a criminal infrastructure that had taken years to build. The impact was immediate and measurable. Emergency calls at Ivy Crossing dropped by more than 75% following the raids. Parents report their children are playing in courtyards again without fear. The psychological stranglehold that had gripped the community for months was finally broken. But the Aurora operation raises questions that extend far beyond one Colorado suburb. How many other TDA cells are operating undetected in American communities? How many families are currently living under similar conditions of intimidation and control? Intelligence officials now describe TDA as a threat comparable to international terrorism, a designation that has ignited fierce debate in Washington. Critics worry such language risks stigmatizing entire immigrant communities, while supporters argue that anything less fails to acknowledge the sophisticated nature of this transnational threat. The debate reflects a deeper challenge facing American law enforcement and policymakers. Traditional approaches to gang crime were developed for local organizations with limited reach and resources. TDA represents something different entirely, a prison-born criminal organization that has evolved into a multinational enterprise capable of establishing territorial control in foreign countries. The successful Colorado operation demonstrates that coordinated law enforcement can dismantle even sophisticated transnational criminal networks, but it also reveals how long such organizations can operate before being detected and disrupted. The families of Aurora paid the price for that delay. Their experience serves as both a warning and a roadmap for communities across America where similar operations may already be taking root. Federal authorities are treating this as just the beginning. Intelligence gathered during the Colorado operation has opened new investigations in multiple states. The network TDA built took years to establish, and dismantling it completely will require sustained effort across multiple jurisdictions and international borders. The question facing America now is simple but urgent. Will we wait for more viral videos and more communities held hostage, or will we treat transnational gang infiltration with the seriousness it deserves before the next Aurora happens? The choice we make will determine whether suburban America remains vulnerable to organizations that view our neighborhoods not as communities to join, but as territories to control. What do you think about this unprecedented law enforcement operation? Are you concerned about similar criminal networks in your area? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth coverage of the stories that matter most to your safety and security.